Hey guys, how's it going? Cosmic Hero Dude here, and today we are playing some No Man's Sky. Okay, so some people might be a little curious as to why there hasn't been an actual gaming video put up in a little while, and well, that's because I got stuck playing this game. And it was one of those situations where I started just to kind of see what it was like, and then before I knew it, I had already gone 77 hours into the game. But since there's so much left to do in the game, I figure no better time to make a video than now. And just as a side note, I wanted to throw it out there that the footage you're watching is actually pre-recorded, and I'm doing the voiceover at a later date. But I wanted to try this type of style just to see if it's a little bit easier. As far as editing goes, it takes a little bit longer, but I do think it does help me stay engaged with the video a little bit better, as well as it helps with that time management issue. But for as to what we're doing today, well, I just kind of wanted to pick the main story mission, or one of the main story missions, and follow along with what it's telling us to do right now, and just kind of see where it goes. So hopefully you'll enjoy it, hopefully it'll be a big success, and if it's really good, maybe we'll just kind of continue on and see what this develops into. Alright, so actually getting started. First things first. At this point in the gameplay, I have no real idea as to what to expect when trying to finish this quest or mission or storyline or whatever you want to call it, but I do know that we need to venture out to save a space traveler named Artemis, as well as I know the enemies that we're dealing with are named Sentinels. But I don't really know how anything's going to be structured, so I think the best thing to do here is just kind of prepare for the worst, hope for the best type of deal. So with all that said, we're going to get our mission selected, and once we have it selected, I'm going to just make one more very quick detour, just so that we can get some context for the viewers who may not be familiar with the game and some of the mechanics or characters. But don't worry, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible so the length of this video doesn't become some crazy long event. These glitchy jerks are called Sentinels. They seem to be a hive-minded or at least a network-linked AI that roam multiple planets, and depending on what planet you land on, it kind of dictates whether they're going to be hostile or not. And, well, some shoot on sight, some wait to see what you do, and if you start taking things or pilfering rare items, then they become hostile. And other planets, they just they're there, they're hanging out, they're docile. But usually when you're playing the game, as you're going to a planet, you can scan it, and it'll let you know what type of mindset they have. So far, you have drones. They look like little eyeballs, and they come in armored or not armored. And they have quads that look like attack dogs. And then the other one is called a walker, and that should be popping up here soon. Now, the walker can be a pain in the ass. The way I've been dealing with them is just using my advanced M203 explosive space modulator. Well, I take cover and then I use explosives until they're no longer standing. Which seems to work pretty well, but every once in a while it's like the game glitches out and it'll send like 2 or 3 at me at the same time. And when that happens, pretty much I just kind of skedaddle. Like, no point dying, but yep, when it's one at a time, as long as your inventory's right, you got the right gear going, no problem at all. Barely an inconvenience. The last part of the Sentinel threat that I wanted to bring up is if you leave the area in your ship while they're still searching, they'll actually scan the wider area, and eventually they'll send ships to come shoot you down while you're in orbit or trying to leave the planet. But once again, not too much of a problem if your ship's equipped with the right gear, got a few explosives, a lot of pew-pews to throw at them, and eventually they will go down. But if we take a second to look in the upper right-hand corner, you'll kind of see the little diamond icons, and let me go ahead and zoom in on these. Yep, so if those reach 5 diamonds, or 5 stars, whatever you want to call them, then the Sentinels actually send their own freighter, like it's a warship. And that thing has cannons and guns and whatnot, and at the same time it's also deploying other fighters to come at you, so either it's a fun time, or that should be your cue to just get out of there and try to live for another day. But now that we got that all out of the way, we are finally ready to get the real mission started. So earlier in the game, we received a transmission from a traveler named Artemis. And, well, they're lost, stranded on a planet. They don't know where they are. And as we tried to send back and forth information, we got their, what constellations and stars they see in the sky. And we had people check, and no one in our system can identify those constellations, and they can't pinpoint Artemis's location. So after that, the next step was to try to triangulate and boost Artemis's signal from the messages they've been sending. And what we ended up learning is that Sentinel technology was used and Artemis was transported via that technology. So we're just going to try to recreate those conditions and try to travel or teleport to them. Which does kind of give me a moment to bring up one of the few things I don't like about this game, or any game in general, and that's always that feeling like they're trying to pad the mission time or runtime. And what they'll do is they'll go, hey, go here, look at this pyramid, look at this glyph, whatever it's called, and then once you do that, they're like, okay, now do it 2 more times, and it's 6 hours east is your next location. And it's like, why couldn't you just let me learn everything from one location and then go do what I gotta do? Nope. Need more time, more game hours, go to 2 more shrines. Which leads us to our second location, and this probably has to be the biggest surprise that I couldn't have wrote this, I couldn't have expected this. This just played out really nicely. So believe it or not, when I first started the game, I was actually running around this desert planet, and I found these ruins buried underground. And well, at that time, the mission was to make a base, and I was like, well, here we are, let's do it here. And I built my base next to and slightly around this ruin, and I had no idea that my second stop on this quest would be my home. I mean, ain't nothing like completing a step and getting to do a pit stop at the same time. It's just great. And, well, that's 2 down, so if this game has taught me anything, and it has a little bit, it's that everything is done in 3s. So, I'm assuming we got 1 more location to go, and luckily enough, it's on the same planet we're already on, so we're just not going to delay and we're going to head on over there. So at the speed of 2 times editing, we are bahaing our way to victory with one of our other vehicles, the Rover. And not gonna lie, the Rover is pretty fun to just kind of mess around with, and much like everything else, it can be upgraded to go faster, handle better, and of course, it can be outfitted with guns. The only drawback is the more you put into the vehicle as far as upgrades, mods, weapons, things like that, the less storage space you have for collecting things. So you constantly gotta be mindful of your inventory, because if not, you'll find something really neat and you won't have any space to take it back with you. And here we are. Gonna park this bad boy right here, like a glove. And I don't know why the laser thing does that every once in a while, but not important. So what we need to do is get up onto this ruin. I said up onto this ruin. There we go. And we'll see what this thing has to say. Alright, Cliff Notes time, just for time management reasons. The ruins gave us some information about a traveler named Atlas, and let us witness the glyphs in regards to it. Kind of like old memories, I guess. But it gave us another location that we'll need to travel to, and luckily enough, it's on planet. But as much as I would love to use the rover to get over there, maybe over here, now we're at this magical new obelisk-looking ruin thingy. Looks like a teleporter to me. See, if that doesn't scream teleporter, I don't know what does. Nothing left to do, then I guess to step through and to go where no man has gone before. Lego. No lie, my friends, I literally have no idea what's going on at the moment. It teleported us here, but I don't know what I was expecting. But we're gonna say hello to this thing, and I'm actually also surprised because it says it's Atlas. I don't know. I guess it's actually an atlas. It's a map, tells you directions, I guess. But I honestly thought that Atlas was gonna be a person or a life form, but looks more like a big computing ball computer. Witchamajigger. And it kind of brings up a little bit of a interesting question because the way it looks like it's referring to the traveler, and I assume it means us or the character on screen. So it's talking like there's so many errors and the interface is broken. So I wonder if the main character that we play as, being that he's kind of like a nameless, voiceless person, just a representation of us going through the journey on screen, I kind of wonder if everything's kind of connected, and maybe we'll be able to explore that more in another video where we're not trying to save Apollo. Atlas, once done with her conversation and invading our mind and personal freedom, teleports us to another planet that I'm pretty sure is in a different galaxy or system or whatever you call it, but at least he was nice enough to send our ship, albeit that for some reason it's broken, but still intact enough to be able to intercept a couple more transmissions that put us back on course and one step closer to finding Artemis. But it is worth mentioning that our character, although not having a speaking voice, does have thoughts, is actually shook up by his conversation with Atlas. It's making him starting to question why he's going through with this mission. But as the player, we have no time for this quandary, and we must continue to push on with what we came to do. With our ship repaired and a new set of coordinates from the latest message we received, we race off to a sandy, desolate wasteland of a planet, with hopes that our quest is finally coming to an end and we will finally be able to bring our friend home. After some light looting, though, of course, gotta make sure we bring back the goods. I'm sorry, did that say Extreme Sentinel Planet? Is that 3 diamonds already? Okay. We just gotta get Artemis and get out of here. And what is this? No, what? No. Is there gonna be another location or what? Okay, so unfortunately, guys, it looks like Artemis is no longer with us, and what we've been striving to find is nothing more than an echo trapped, reaching out and honestly potentially letting other travelers who might be close and picking up that transmission to come to this planet, and that's just, unfortunately, that's just really sad. But we're just gonna have to take our time to mourn later, because if we don't get off this planet with the way that they're throwing themselves at us, like, planet might be a real threat, so we should get out of here before we end up being our own little tombstone just floating there. Unfortunately, it looks like our mission overall was a bust, and well, I don't know what to say at this point, because this wasn't anything that I expected. I was kind of hoping for, Sentinel shootouts and being chased through space and, being able to kind of land on a planet and fist bump and buddy, let's go, and ride out into the sunset. Alright, so it only looks like there might be 1 or 2 more things to do here, but at least what it wants us to do now is head over to this Hollow terminus and reach out to our contacts. One's named Apollo, and they're like old friends of Artemis's, his people, and let them know what happened. Okay, so it looks like no Apollo signal. Oh, we picked up something. I'm sorry, what? You're telling me that we can bring back Artemis? that all this wasn't in vain, that we could possibly have a good video with a happy ending. All right, sir or ma'am, or floating orb on angel-looking body. Anyway, you have my attention. What do I gotta do? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that'll have to do it for this video. I know. I'm sorry I have to pick a spot that feels like I'm leaving you hanging, but if we keep pushing and going, we'd probably end up with an hour-long video, and I just don't think that'd be as fun as and as entertaining as it could be. But don't worry, we'll be able to pick this back up soon, and we'll continue on with the quest to save our friend, Artemis. Well, I don't know, he might be an acquaintance. Just saying. But remember to like, comment, and hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends that we're trying to make better videos now so that you won't be ashamed to share them. And feel free to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. But if nothing else, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great day. And don't forget, take it easy.